Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a restful weekend, that all the mothers had a wonderful Mother's Day, that they were appreciated and that they were loved, because women are the nurturers of the home. We carry a mantle and a strength that only us can identify with. But I had a thought as I reflected over the weekend, and it's not only for mothers, but it's for us as a people in general. Sometimes we glorify struggles, and if we see someone doing well, let's say particularly in the Black community, we tend to think that God didn't bless them, that they got their blessings by some other means. But God is teaching me that we have allowed ourselves to settle for just the minimum. We've been conditioned to think that God isn't going to bless us abundantly more than we can ask or more than we can think. Sometimes we think that what we have now is all that God has for us. Sometimes we think that we're not going to obtain the lifestyle. Sometimes we feel guilty. And I know at one point I felt guilty of the blessings. We've been conditioned to think in this life that if we put our children through private school, if we work all our lives and struggle, that is what God has for us. But God has more, and I'm not saying that is not good, but God has more. Let's cancel this mindset of this is just enough, that us having a good job, us being able to put our kids in private school is just all God has for us. He has more for us, that we can eat the best food, that we can travel to the best places, that we can own more than one home, that we're not defined by just the things that we feel like we've struggled to obtain, that we're only defined by that. But there's more that God has for us. But we have to move from a spirit of lack. Sometimes even in our blessings, we still have a spirit of lack. We just don't see it. We feel that, okay, if God gives us this blessing, that we have to hold on tight to it, that it's nothing else is going to come, that no more is going to show. And I want you to know that God wants to bless us abundantly more than we can ask or more than we can think. So today, let's think an abundant mindset, that the house where we live is not the only house that God has for us, that the job that we're on, that we have to settle and think that this is all we're going to get, meaning that even if we're on a good job, to make it feel that we can achieve more on the job. Help us to move from a mindset of just enough to a mindset that God is going to do more for us. Help us not to settle and to think that, okay, for our children, we don't need to, that by just putting them in